dead, so who cares?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please do subscribe, and if you're old here, hello again. My name's Kate Philpott and I cover true crime cases on my channel. This week's video was actually spurred on by a comment I got on one of my TikToks. This comment made me a little mad initially, but then I kind of caught myself and was like, okay, let me see it from this person's point of view. But either way, I definitely felt the need to address it. Not the comment itself, but more so the discussion around it. And obviously I have been doing a lot of true crime, mainly missing person cases on my TikTok. So obviously it's much more short form content, but go ahead and follow me over there. It's KatePhilpott_YT. Also stay till the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing a couple of missing person cases that are very urgent to get the word out about, and you really need to know about them. And maybe we can all come together and make a difference in these cases. Okay, so here is the comment that I am talking about. It says, I ain't trying to be that dude, but she definitely dead. And I honestly just want to talk about why it is so important to talk about missing person cases and to get their names out there. And just in general, why it's important to care when a person goes missing, even if it's months or years down the line. So first of all, I say this all the time on my channel, but people don't just disappear. I cannot stress that enough. I didn't even understand that fully until when I started my YouTube channel, coming up to a year ago now. But if a person goes missing, something has either happened to this person or there's been a major change in their life, i.e. they've run away. So I'm not gonna defend the person that made this comment on the TikTok video, but it is very easy to not care because the person who's gone missing is not there to defend themselves. They can't bang their drum really loud and say, hey, please come find me. Hey, please come figure out what happened to me. They can't do that because they are missing. But the very fact that they can't do that is the exact reason why we need to care. Bear with me, it's a little dark in here. And yes, there is a percentage of people who, after a period of time, are presumed dead, whether it be through some kind of accident or murder or, you know, whatever the case may be. But that still doesn't mean that we shouldn't care. And on top of that, the very fact that they might have been murdered is a damn good reason that we should still care. Because that means that there could be someone walking around, getting up in the morning, going to work, getting paid, deciding what they get to do every day, deciding what they get to eat every day, and they're responsible for another person's death. And that's definitely not okay. But honestly, the main reason for me, at least, why it is so crucial to keep these names out there and keep putting their faces out there is actually for the opposite reason, that they might still be out there. And again, I'm not backing this person up by saying, yeah, if they're dead, it doesn't matter, obviously, but I just want to talk about this for a sec. There is one case that really changed how I viewed missing person cases, and that case is the Cleveland abduction case, which I have actually covered on my channel. I'll leave it up there in the cards if you haven't checked that out. It's just one that really struck me for a reason I'll explain now. If you haven't seen that video, spoiler alert, but those 3 girls were missing for 10 years. And everyone in their community and everyone in their families thought they were dead and that they would never, ever see them alive again. They thought that for years. And little did they know, those 3 girls were being held against their will in a house, being abused and assaulted in all kinds of ways multiple times a day. They were hardly ever fed, they were hardly ever allowed to shower, and they were being held there by a man that they knew, only blocks away from where they actually lived and where their families still lived. For 10 years! So when I'm talking about missing person cases, obviously that would be an awful scenario for a person to be in, but it means that they're not so far gone that they're unsavable. And that's not the only time that something like this has happened. Need I even mention the likes of human trafficking, which admittedly I don't know enough about, but the fact that it happens is why this is so important. And one more major reason to keep these cases alive, you don't know what eyes are gonna see that Instagram story you share, or the post you put out, or the TikTok, or whatever it is, or even just sending a TikTok to someone. You don't know what eyes are gonna see that. Maybe those are the eyes that have also seen that blue Nike runner. that was connected to the person that's gone missing. Or maybe it'll get to the person that saw some kind of physical altercation in the area on the day the person disappeared. Or maybe it'll get to the person who will see something the next day. And if the person that you share it with isn't, well, then maybe they'll share it with the person, and down the line it will get to the right person who could end up being the missing link that could solve it. You get what I'm saying. That, as well as all the other reasons I've mentioned, is why it is so crucial to push these names out to the best of our abilities. It's a totally free thing to do. And don't get me wrong, I get the whole, oh well, they're probably dead thing. I don't agree with the sentiment, but I get where people are coming from. But if you disappeared, is that how you'd want people to treat your case? If you were killed and thrown in a ditch somewhere, sorry to be morbid, does that mean your case is not important because you're no longer alive? Would you not want the person responsible to be held accountable for their actions? The comment that this person gave, I'm guessing they didn't think about it this deeply, because there's no justification for seeing it that way and making it, oh well, who cares? They're dead, so who cares? Like, there's no justification for that. So with all that in mind, and for all those reasons, I am going to mention a couple of missing person cases that are quite recent that also need more eyes on their case. But just before I do, obviously we're all interested in this kind of thing. We're interested in true crime content here. So I want you to comment below what case you think needs more attention for some reason or another, whether it's a recent missing person case, or whether it's a missing person who has for some reason been forgotten about, or a victim that people have forgotten about, or a case that just desperately needs justice for whatever reason. And maybe there is a petition or a GoFundMe that you can let people know about in the comments. Can you link things in the comments, or does that come up as spam? I honestly don't know, but if you can, then great. And I'm asking you to leave that in the comments because, like I said, obviously we're all interested in this kind of thing. And if you're still watching this video, then you also care about this kind of thing. And it's very evidently something that we all are willing to spend our time educating ourselves about. So the comments of a true crime creator's video is probably a good place to be sharing these names, because we might not all know these names. Okay, now for the missing people. I'm going to mention 3 cases. I'm just going to briefly go over the details that you need to know and why it's so important to know about them. Although it probably taps into everything I've said anyway. First of all, we have Jawaher Hedgie. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me post her missing person poster on my story a couple of times. If you follow me on TikTok, I did recently do a TikTok about her. So Jawaher Hedgie is 26 years old, and she went missing on the 23rd of December 2020 from Las Vegas. 3 days later, her car was found abandoned at an active construction site. Jawaher's bag, wallet and phone were all found inside the car, and the car keys were found on top of the car. So there is a bit of a theory of maybe someone wanted the car to be stolen. According to Jawaher's family, she always used the GPS no matter where she was going. Even if she knew how to get there, she always used it on every single car journey. But the GPS was not used to get to that location. So was somebody else driving, or was she forced to go to this location, or was she meeting up with someone and she didn't want there to be a trace of it? I honestly don't know. Now, there is camera footage of Jawaher walking away from her car towards the Amargosa Trail. And this is strange because it was evening time and she was walking alone. And according to her family, this is very strange because she would never have gone hiking alone at night. And she had never even done this trail before. And there was an occasion prior to when she went missing that Jawaher and her sister went hiking on some other trail, and it started to get dark, and Jawaher started kind of freaking out because she didn't want to get lost when it was dark. And that was when the two of them were together. So it really doesn't make sense that she would walk towards this trail that she's never done before at night alone. Now, something that I kind of wish I knew more about was her living situation. So apparently she lives with her ex-boyfriend. I'm not entirely sure of the dynamic there, if they get on really well or if it's just because of financial reasons. Like, I truly don't know. If anybody does know the answer to that, please let me know in the comments. But police have looked into the footage at their home as well as the footage at his work. Now, I know you're probably like, okay, go on. No, police haven't said anything about this footage. They haven't said whether it makes him look good or sketchy or anything. They just have not said a word. There was also a witness that came forward to say that they saw a man following Jawaher. I'm not sure if that's been looked into that thoroughly. That's kind of all we know about that lead. But truly the police have not looked into this thoroughly at all, and my heart goes out to her family because, for example, they've said that the area she went missing in is considered a crime scene, but it's not even cordoned off with crime scene tape. It never was, to my knowledge. So how is it a crime scene when it's literally open to the public? People can trample through any kind of evidence that's there. And she's nearly missing 2 months ago now. Actually, 2 months to the day that I'm filming this. She went missing 2 months ago, and the crime scene was never cordoned off. How is that officially a crime scene? Like, obviously it is some kind of crime scene because that's where she was last seen, but they definitely haven't treated it as such. Now, the reason this case is so incredibly important, and honestly this makes my blood boil. According to the police, this is what the police have said to the family, that this case will be a cold case as of next week. She only went missing 2 months ago and they've hardly done anything. Like, there is an Instagram account that I will put the name of here. That's what her sister is using to kind of get the word out. But the police have done F all. But that's why this case needs a ton of attention now. And the family is begging the public for help, because they know that if this is turned over to the cold case unit, police will basically have an excuse to totally deprioritize it, if that's a word, and basically say, well, we tried, sorry. And that's just not good enough, particularly because she's literally only missing 2 months. Okay, that one gets me really riled up. And I mean, we have seen it with cases like the Alyssa Turney case, where Sarah Turney has, oh, she is just such an incredible person. She has managed to create this public pressure. Finally, because of all of this pressure from the public, the police made an arrest after 19-20 years. And that just shows you what's possible. Alright, so our next missing person is Katie Foulds. Katie is a 22-year-old from Blackburn in England. She was last seen at about 4:05 p.m. on the 10th of February, which is 2 weeks ago now. The police have released some CCTV footage of her walking north on the south promenade of St. Anne's, which is actually closer to Blackpool. It's not actually in Blackburn, so it's right on the coast. She's about 5'5" and she was wearing this brown teddy coat when she went missing, as well as black leggings. She's been described a number of times in the media as vulnerable, and I'm not sure if there's a specific reason for that or if it's just because she's young. But if anyone watching this video is in the Blackpool or St. Anne's area, or even anywhere nearby, or was anywhere nearby on the 10th of February or in the days after that, please think, like, did you take any videos? Did you take any pictures? Do you have dash cam footage that you can look through? These are the things that could lead to some clues. And obviously her family is incredibly concerned because they have not heard a single thing from Katie since she went missing on the 10th. That's honestly all the information we really have on her case at the moment, but I'll let you guys know if there's any updates. Okay, finally we have Noah Corbin. 14-year-old Noah Corbin is missing from Madison Heights in Michigan. They were last seen on Tawas Street in Madison Heights, but again they haven't been seen since the 13th of February, which is a week and a half ago as I'm filming this, probably 2 weeks by the time you see this. They have an eyebrow piercing and dark hair, and also they're about 5'4". This one's particularly worrying because there is so little information and Noah is only 14 years old. But as I'm saying that, keep this in mind, that please don't let the lack of information about a case determine your decision on how important it is or how worthy it is of our attention. But yeah, that is about it for Noah Corbin's case as well. I will also keep you updated on that one. If not in this video by the time it goes up, then definitely on my Instagram stories, as well as potentially TikTok and Twitter, all of which are kphilpot_YT. I cannot stress this enough, but thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little different to the stuff I normally do, but I just, after I got that comment on TikTok, like, I didn't want to respond to it with hate or anything because I think that's kind of unproductive, but I just wanted to use it as an opportunity to highlight just how important it is. We're obviously interested in these things. I mean, if you're watching my video, then you are one of those people that finds true crime and everything interesting for whatever reason that may be. But I just think It is so important to not forget like the real reason why we talk about these things. And I think lately, I want to say within the last 2 weeks or so, I've really kind of felt a lot more aligned with why I even started this channel in the first place. Missing people are, for some reason, like, oh, well, I suppose not for some reason, I've basically explained all the reasons in this video, but it just really tugs on my heartstrings. And with that in mind, if anyone ever has someone go missing in their community, or you hear of someone go missing and nobody seems to be talking about it, please send it over to me. I would love to post it on my story and do a TikTok about it and get the word out as much as physically possible. Okay, moving on. So I have kind of hinted at like me having something going on in the last week or two, and you know what, it would almost feel inauthentic not to talk about it, because it's actually become such a huge part of my life now, and like in everything I do, and it might impact my YouTube videos. In fact, it's the reason I wanted to do something different today that maybe didn't take quite as much research, and that is that I am starting a new business. It is totally unrelated to true crime. It has absolutely nothing to do with it, and that's why I was like, is there any point in me even mentioning it? But like, yes, I talk about true crime cases, which is totally fact-based, and I basically spend the whole video telling you about facts, but there's still a person behind this channel, and that is me. Obviously. And I've always considered myself as someone who is very multi-passionate. Like I have so many passions. And it's not like, yes, I'm passionate about true crime, but there are so many other things that I'm passionate about, and this business is one of those things now. But you know what, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Basically, it's gonna be a planner and kind of guided journals kind of business. It will be starting off just as digital products, and I'm honestly starting with very tiny baby steps, because I am launching it with only 2 products, and I just hope to kind of add to it as I go along. But all of the back end stuff and like actually creating the products and like getting the website up and running and like all of this kind of stuff has been taking up a lot of my time lately, and will probably continue to do so over the next few weeks to a month-ish. And then, I mean, even from there, I'm gonna have another thing that I'll be doing. And also I've been doing like a lot of content creation for that on TikTok, and I have another Instagram which I have sneakily been sharing posts about. Not about, but like sneakily been sharing posts from on my story. So keep an eye out. Because I haven't like officially announced it on my Instagram. But yeah, basically I have a new business, or I am about to launch a new business, and I'm really excited about it. I've always been obsessed with planners and journals, and like down the line I would love to have like my own physical products, like something I can literally hold in my hand and say, I made this. But in the meantime, it's just gonna be digital products. But honestly, what I've created so far, I'm like, I would buy the hell out of that. So yeah, when I launch, I will probably tell you guys about it and leave links and stuff like that. But my content isn't gonna change. I'm still gonna have a true crime channel. But I've always been the kind of person where I'm like, I don't want A or B, I want A and B. And I don't see any reason why I can't have A and B. So I don't want a true crime channel or a planner business. I want a true crime channel and a planner business. Variety is the spice of life. Okay, I'm gonna stop blabbing about it, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because it's just such a big part of my life now. It feels weird not to mention it when I sit down to film for like an hour or two, you know? But with that in mind, I am gonna love you and leave you, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys!